Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clay and Chat. I will be your host Erica, and here on Clay and Chat it's kind of a podcast where I'm just chatting about things that I've got going on in the clay world as far as like what part of the process I'm at, my favorite tools, different things that I enjoy using, maybe some unboxings if I ever get a big thing of supplies, things like that. So I also do sometimes get into some of the other things that I've got my hands in. So I do a lot of stuff. I'm always doing something. So I also do knitting and crochet. So I do like to share those works in progress as well as some of the finished pieces because I'm proud of them and I like to show them off. So we'll go ahead and get started. And if you guys want to grab a cup of something warm, and let's just get into it. Okay, so let's start this podcast with two things I'm pretty proud of and that were like so fun to make. So the first two things that I've got are a baby blanket that I crocheted, and then I also made my first pair, well, not pair, I'm halfway through, of socks. So let's start with the baby blanket because that's an actual finished thing. So we have this really pretty baby blanket, and the pattern is by TLY Yarn Crafts. I've mentioned her before, Tony. She's really good. I really like her Tunisian and crochet patterns. Are very simple and easy to understand. They always turn out really nice. I've yet to make something of hers that I'm not really happy with, so that's always nice. But here it is. Isn't that so pretty? Really happy with how this turned out, and it's a really good size, I think, for a baby blanket. I can't remember the dimensions, so I apologize, but yeah, it's just like the way the colors change and how this white like squares it in and kind of breaks up those color changes. Because one thing I don't like about striping yarn is when it's really like abrupt, like it ends here. So this pattern is a good way to like break that up and make it just really nice. So that was one thing. And then a quick shout out. So I got this little bag for like my little projects. My husband thinks I'm nuts. I keep buying so many bags for different projects, and I only ever have one project going on at a time, but I just can't help it. And this way I'm supporting an individual, right? So you've got to justify it a little bit. Anyways, I got this off of Etsy. I can't remember the name of the shop, but I'll go ahead and link it in the description down below. And just real quick, just to get this out of the way, nothing is sponsored. I'm just showing you guys stuff that I enjoy using and that I love. So, adorable little drawstring bag. It opens up. It's super cute. I love this thing. So, we have one finished sock, and I haven't blocked this yet or anything, but look how cute that is. Hopefully the camera is focusing like it's supposed to. I'm still learning how to not get holes in the heels. So if you've ever knitted a pair of socks and you've done the Dorman short row, please let me know if you know how to avoid the holes in the heels. So that would be really nice. So I've got that, and then on the needles, I've got a couple more. And then these were some from Etsy too. So cute. I'll link it all in the description below, guys, if it's something you guys want to check out. So those are the knitted goods that I've got going on right now, and I love it. I really do. It's nice because it's the hobby that I can do inside with my kids. Because clay, as you know, or maybe you don't know, clay, it creates a dust, and so that dust can be dangerous to breathe in because it'll get silica gets stuck in your lungs, and it's just not a pretty thing. So you need to be cautious of that, and so I don't really want to have that stuff in the house with my kids. And not to mention glazes can be, dangerous. The glazes I use aren't typically, they're usually pretty safe, but anyway, so I have this studio outside of my house, completely disconnected from the house, and that serves as my clay studio. And that's where we're filming now. And it also serves as my gym because I have my treadmill in here. So it's a multi-purpose room. So anyways, okay. So enough of that. We're done with the knit stuff and we can get into the clay. So what I wanted to do is also do kind of a segment where I'm updating you guys on what I'm currently working on. So right now I'm at the part in my pottery, and you'll see me looking around because I'm like surrounded by my pots. But I'm at the point in my pottery where I just bisqued, and now I am painting with Underglaze and putting all the color into my piece. And that's why I was gonna do today for this clay and chat a kind of why I use the underglazes, how I use the underglazes. I'm gonna show you guys some of my test pieces that I've got, so you guys can see, you know, some of the things. So let's go ahead and get started. So some new designs that I'm doing this time. I've been playing around with SGRAFFITO for a couple months now. I usually do Mishima, which is where you cover your piece in wax once it's like leather hard, and then you carve through it, and then you do underglaze on top of that, and then you wipe back the underglaze, yeah, and then it stays in the lines. Really cool technique. So here's a piece. For example, this hasn't been painted yet. This is like my origami platter. This was the first time trying this. This is hand built. So this is the origami platter, and it's got a nice little scene on it. And then the back, I went ahead and oh gosh, am I even holding it up right? Sorry. So I went ahead and put a texture on the back as well. So hopefully that is coming through okay. So yeah. So yeah, that's Mishima. So anyways, I was talking about SGRAFFITO. So I recently, maybe don't break that. So I recently started doing some newer designs, and I saw like some really cute folk-ish type animals, and I just thought it would be so cool in SGRAFFITO, so I gave it a shot. And let me know which one is your guys' favorite of these creatures. I'm really curious because sometimes what I like ends up being the least favorite of the rest of everybody. So I'm curious what you guys like, so let me know. So the first one we have is this cute little bunny. Hopefully we can get some focus on this. And yeah, so really cute bunny. And then as you turn around, you've got a nice little scene and everything, and it looks really good. So that's one. And then we've got, I'm going to try not to break these. And then we've got a moth friend. I say moth friend because my daughter, anytime she sees a moth, that's what she calls it. She says moth friend. So, and that's another scene that goes all the way around. And then last but not least, we have a fox. And if you look closely, you can see like each little creature has like flowers carved out of it. I think that's kind of the folk style. So yeah, all in all, really happy with these. So I'm going to slap a clear glaze on these and then just put an awesome glaze on top to really make it shine. And this black is really going to pop once I put that clear glaze. I use a, here, let me show you. I use a Sahara liquid glaze from Amaco. It's High Fire series, lead-free and zinc-free clear. This has been my favorite clear ever. Crystal clear every single time. I have no problems with it ever. So anytime I do an order, I pick up a bottle of this because sometimes supply is rough and you can't always get it. So there it is for you guys, for your viewing pleasure, if you will. And so this is the clear that I gravitate towards. So yeah, great clear. Highly recommend. Okay, so that's what we're working on now. And then I'm also in the process of adding the underglaze to my current designs. So here's an example of that. This is a Mishima piece. It's a bee, and that is on a hand-built mug. And so I've got the underglaze painted on there, and then I've got texture all the way around. So on this, I'll do a nice glaze that's going to show that texture really well, and then do a nice runny glaze on top here, probably Mako Dark Flux, always a winner, or Amaco Oatmeal, also always a winner. So we've got that. And then I wanted to show you guys this because, so if you look closely, hopefully you can see this. If you can't, I'll pop a picture up for you guys to look at. But if you look closely, you kind of see the lines are kind of filled in right now. You can't really see the black lines too much underneath because of that underglaze. But that's okay because I watered down my underglazes, and so they're translucent like a watercolor. And so the black underlines from the Mishima really pop once I do my glaze fire. So there's no issue there, so it works really well. So that is all. That's where I'm at in my current pottery process. And so yeah, so for the main segment of this clay and chat, I was going to talk to you guys about underglazes. So when I first started out, oh my goodness, all the glazes. I was like glazes, underglazes, overglazes, decals, slow fire, high, like there's so much information on pottery. It's insane. And it's like, there's so much different facets to each thing. So one thing that was really confusing to me was underglaze. So one thing that you got to know about underglaze is that it's typically not food safe. There is Amaco Stroke and Coat that is food safe by itself because it's basically a glaze. It fires glossy. So that's one exception. There might be more, I don't know of anymore. But for example, I use Speedball. And so if you just do Speedball without a clear on, it comes very matte. And I mean, you can see that right here on these pieces. Like this is a very matte finish. It's not smooth. I mean, it's not rough because, you know, if you carve through it right, you're not gonna have rough pieces, but it's not super smooth. So you want to, if you're gonna use it on any food surface. So for example, on this mug, I don't have to put a clear glaze on this. That's a preference. I enjoy the feel of a clear glaze more than just the bare clay. But you would obviously need to do a food safe glaze on the inside and then on the rim as well, and then preferably on the handle. I know you're not eating off of it, but it's nice to match it, I guess, but you don't have to. So that's just kind of a underglaze rundown. So the way I use my underglazes is I actually use it like watercolor. So before I started pottery, I used to do watercolors, and I loved it. I just didn't like that I couldn't really do too much with it. Like you kind of hung it on the wall and that was it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Obviously artists are amazing. But I just prefer to use a piece that I've made. So whether that be something I've knitted, like a sock, very functional, or a mug or a planter, you know, things like that. I really like functional pieces. So that's just my preference. So once I found out that you can do watercolor on pottery, mind blown. That was it. I was hooked from then. So what I had to do is I had to find an underglaze that worked well for that. So I used to use Amaco Velvet Underglazes, which amazing glaze, super reliable, really smooth, always great. I've never had any issues with them. The only issue I ended up having actually was that I couldn't get it. So with everything that's happened in the past couple years, obviously a lot of supply issues have come about and it's been really hard to get Amaco products sometimes. And that's why I say if you find that clear somewhere, put it in your cart and check out fast, because sometimes with Amaco it's just really hard to get their stuff. Which I'm not mad, I'm not complaining. I know that that's just the way things are right now and that's totally fine. But it just led me to the adventure of finding a alternative to the Amaco Velvet Underglazes. So that's when I stumbled upon, after a lot of research, because I'm obsessive, that's when I stumbled upon Speedball Underglaze. So I'm going to show you guys some of the test tiles that I used to kind of decide whether this was going to work for my piece or not. And so I did Amaco that I had, and then I also did some Speedballs that I got. And I got basically a color of, you know, each part of the rainbow, more or less. So let's go ahead. I'll show you guys those test plates and explain how I made them. And then, you know, sorry, it's a fly. And then you guys can decide if it's something that is good for you guys. So let's see. Okay, so let's start with the Amaco test plate. So this is part Amaco, part, I think, Amaco. Yeah, so Amaco, as far as watercolor, did not work super well for me. I mean, they're very pretty, very pastel, but a lot of them you just could not see. So that was not going to work for my process. So I believe that this top part is all basically the ones that you can see. Those are the Amaco ones, and then down here is the Amaco Stroke and Coat. So you can see that Amaco does really good. Like, so how I did this is, so the top, okay, so I did one coat total, and then I did 2 coats, and then the bottom one is 3 coats. So the bottom of each of these is the full strength. I mean, in full strength, I mean I watered them down. So that's just 3 layers of watered down. So the Amaco did do really well. There was no issues with it. Like I said, the only issue I had was not being able to get it, which is a big issue. So that's when I ended up moving over to Speedball and giving them a shot. So just for your, sorry, there's clay on this. So this is the full strength one. Yeah, so these guys right here, these are full strength, and those are the Speedball Underglazes. And we have, oh goodness, carmine, pink, orange, yellow, leaf green, medium green, pine, maybe that's leaf, oh no, that's chartreuse and that's leaf green. So yeah, all of those. And then, so that was kind of full strength. That's 3 coats, not watered down, just straight on top of each other. And you can kind of tell, I mean, they're a little streaky, but with how I'm using them, and I bet if you did like thicker coats, it'd probably be fine. I was slapping this on. So, in my, these guys, frost, purple, and they're black, royal purple. So that was them full strength. And then here are some examples of them watered down. So let's start with this one. So for example, this is carmine. And so I did all the way across 1 coat, 2 coats, and then the last one has 3 coats. And I did that for all of these. And so I was really impressed with how well they stayed, like really bright colors, even though I'm watering these down quite a bit. So I was really impressed with how well they stayed. And so after doing these few test plates, I didn't do a ton, but you know, after doing a few of them, it was really easy and clear for me to see that these would work for, you know, what I was hoping for. And the best part is that they are very affordable. So Speedball is actually less expensive than Amaco by quite a bit. Amaco's gotten a little spendy these days. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I think I went to pick up, what was it, iron luster? And it was like $20. I remember when I was buying iron luster for like 12 or 13, and I haven't even been doing pottery that long. So prices obviously are hiking up quite a bit, but I know that I can get a 2 ounce of Speedball Underglaze. So for example, I just got an order from Clay King. So this is, you know, just their 2 ounce Speedball, and this is the royal purple. And I think this cost less than $4. And then I got, this, which is the big 16 ounce Speedball of the leaf green. And I think that this was less than $14. So Clay King has really good prices, very competitive to those places around you. And usually I go to Georgie's if I can. Georgie's is a clay supplier in Oregon, but they don't have Speedball actually. So I can't go for Speedball, but I can go for other things. And then, yeah, so that's Underglaze for you. I hope that that's a little helpful. So I know that when I was starting out, a video like this would have been helpful for me. So I thought I would just kind of, you know, show that to you. So yeah, so we've got current works. Again, please let me know which one of those Graffito critters are your favorite. I'll show you guys one more time. We have the bunny. And then we have the moth friend. And then last we have the fox. So yes, please let me know which one's your favorite, because I really am very curious. And then also comment, you know, some of your favorite underglazes. Let's try to help each other out so that, you know, if there is that person who's out there really just trying to find all the information they can, maybe a comment down below will really help them out. Have you tried Speedball? Do you enjoy it? Or do you, you know, I know that there's Duncan, there's obviously Mako has, besides their stroke and coat, they have the fundamentals. I haven't used those ones. So let me know what your favorite is. And yeah, so anyways, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I do hope that you were able to take something from it. If you did, or if you just enjoyed it, please consider giving my channel a subscribe and a thumbs up for this video as well, because it really does help me and this channel grow, hopefully. And so that's it, guys. I thank you so much for you know, chatting with me. I hope that you guys had a good time and learned lots. All right, thank you guys so much. Bye.